We hereby call this meeting of the Fangirls Club to order.
Where we believe there's always something to fangirl over. I'm Brielle.
And I'm Haley. This week, we are fangirling over Stranger Things. Shocker.
I know.
Stranger Things again. We're just going to keep going through all of the characters until we have no more characters to talk about. And hopefully by then,
we'll get a trailer.
By then, we'll get a trailer. Exactly.
And then there'll be more to talk about.
Today, we're talking about the one and only 11. Elle.
Jane.
Does she have any other names?
Just Jane Hopper.
Jane Hopper.
Or Jane Ives.
Mm-hmm. I feel like there's so much to Elle's story that has to wrap up.
Yeah.
In the last season, there are lots of, it's like a spider web of different things that have been going on with her that I hope all get resolved.
I feel like...
I think
even just in the teaser, but I feel like whatever, I'm assuming we'll only get 2 trailers.
Okay.
And even those are going to be minimal.
I think they have to be, yeah.
And I think they're especially going to be Elle minimal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we're really going to get much with her in any teasers or trailers because I think this season, obviously, I think anything that's going to do with her is going to be a bit spoilery. Like, I think it's just going to be a heavy backstory for her, even though we feel like we've gotten so much. But at the same time, yeah, there's still so much that we're just confused about.
Yeah, there's still more backstory to see. I mean, it's crazy to think we've already gone years without having the backstory we got in season 4 with Henry and 1 and her in that little arc and her in the hospital. It's crazy that we had 3 whole seasons before that.
I know.
Without knowing any of that.
Yeah.
And then the creation of the Upside Down and all of that totally blew up. So, right, I can't even imagine how much more we're going to learn in the last season.
And I'm excited
when it comes to Elle.
See if her getting her powers back, but in this different way, if that's going to change anything with her powers at all.
Yeah.
Are they going to be stronger? Is she going to have any like slightly different abilities or powers? Or like what did going into Nina and unlocking those traumatic events that she blocked out and now her accepting herself as like a monster that she was afraid she was, all of that. I'm curious to see really what all of that will change now because we didn't get to see much of her powers after that at the end of the season.
No.
So
yeah, that's true.
She just piggybacked a little bit.
The piggyback. I know, and like how similar, if her powers have transformed or transitioned in any way, like how similar will they be to Vecna's /1's? Like how much closer is this going to bring her to him and that resolution? How much is this going to make her want to maybe reconnect with Callie?
I'm curious if she will get the ability now that Callie has, that we've now seen that Vecna has.
Yeah.
Of making people, illusions and making people see things. He mainly did his based off of like their biggest fears and stuff, obviously.
Right.
But we saw just, a smaller version of that with Callie, but we've never seen Elle been able to do those powers. So I wonder if maybe that's the thing that she can now do, or if she's ever going to be able to do that, or what, or why can Callie do it and she can't, or can Callie not do any of the things she's done? All of that. Sure. I'm curious if we'll be able to really...
That's true. It seemed like all of them except one had like one specific...
Yeah.
Had one sort of primary power.
Maybe. We didn't really
But we also don't know, right?
Yeah, what much of the other kids got to do.
Yeah. So that'll be interesting. I think we're sort of underestimating, or they're doing a good job at kind of keeping all of this under the radar, but mostly our thoughts on like Elle's powers in the final season and just how epic that's probably going to end up being. Whether the outcome is... triumphant for everyone or catastrophic for others. I'm so excited to see what this amounts to for her, especially.
Yeah.
I think of everybody. It's kind of weird that a lot of people consider Elle to be like an overhyped or an overrated character when it's like, okay, well,
it's about her.
You wouldn't have any of this show without her. If you rewatch you can just like, you just remember like why you fell in love with the show in the first place. And it's because that little girl, one of the best actresses I'd ever seen in my life. And she was what, literally 11 years old.
I'll never get over her audition video for it. And she's just like in a dark corner and just like absolutely sobbing. And they're like, hired.
Yeah, perfect.
She was sobbing.
I know.
Like she wasn't even saying anything. She's just like crying.
I would have been so concerned.
I love to imagine like who's ever behind the camera helping her with it. We're like, you did great.
I know, right? Mom, just like, more. Keep going.
Okay, well, we'll jump in. So biggest question, do you think Elle is going to die?
I'm going to say no for everyone, but I also think like no, I don't think Elle is going to die. And we've talked about this because Hopper can't lose another daughter.
That's the biggest point.
Unless he goes with her, which would be overboard, I think.
Yeah.
Like the hard thing about the show is a domino effect for everyone. Like
yeah, they're all too close.
If 11 dies, then Hopper Hopper dies, then Joyce and Mike. And it's just like, it doesn't matter who it is.
That's very true.
So yeah, maybe she sacrifices herself. I think that's a popular guesstimation.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I feel like she's the one I'd be the least shocked if she dies.
Right.
But then I feel like at the same time, that's why I would be surprised if they did it. Because I feel like they wouldn't go with the most obvious, quintessential lead main character that has the biggest powers has to die type of thing.
Because then it's also like people would say, well, she could have done this from the beginning sort of thing. You know what I mean?
But no, maybe her powers are different or stronger now or something. I don't know. I think my prediction is what I'm going in for is that I don't think she's going to die. I think it's going to be like a Loki situation.
No.
And I think she's going to have to go into the Upside Down and take control of the hive mind herself.
Whoa.
To make sure no one else or Vecna or anyone has control over it now. And then that way she keeps all of the monsters and everything in the Upside Down. She closes the gate. And that's the way everyone, both worlds, can stay separated and safe. But she has to stay there.
You think Elle over Will doing that?
Yeah. Well, because Will...
Purely because of her powers?
Yeah. No one else has ever been able to open a gate before.
Yeah, the gate,
pure power.
Opening the gate, yeah.
Like even Henry, when she was fighting with him, she sent him just by pushing him away, opened up a gate.
She did that.
And sent him to another dimension. Mm-hmm. But Vecna, in this last season, to even open gates, he had to like make a connection with traumatized children and murder them in the sky. And that somehow opened up a gate.
Wow, that's a really good perspective.
Thank you.
I actually hadn't thought of that before.
She's been the like powerfulest little...
Since day one.
Like just a little thing did that. She was so tiny.
Oh.
So I don't know. I don't want that to happen. I want
that's
her
a
to
really
be,
interesting
I want
theory.
her to be okay. But I don't think she will die. I think it'll be a Loki thing.
But yeah, maybe she doesn't proceed in life with everyone else. Ugh. But maybe there's a way Hopper can still visit her.
And then maybe like there's like a tease thing, like the very last shot. It's like something happens where like, oh, maybe later in life she can come back, or maybe there's hope, or maybe
it's like Peter Pan, like she can visit them, but they wouldn't know that she's there in their dreams.
Anyway, now I'm sad.
Now I'm really sad.
In their dreams, she just piggybacks and says hello every night.
Oh, God. Yeah, she just lives in their minds. But then this turns into, like, they're all just been in a psych ward this whole time with, like, this little girl. Like, so it's not quite the D&D game.
I hope it takes, like, the biggest left turn ever and everyone is shocked.
At this point, in this age of television, like, I wouldn't be freaking surprised. We talk and talk, and everyone talks and talks and talks about characters dying in the last season. Mm-hmm. And I know, like, there have been... The Duffer Brothers themselves have said people will die.
Yeah. People died every season.
But my thing is, like, we've loved this show for so long without having any of these major characters die. So I am hoping that they all just live.
Yeah.
Especially Elle.
To be a good show or a dramatic show, you don't have to have giant deaths.
And I just think she deserves to be happy out of all of them. Like she's never known peace a second of her life.
Except when she was in California, and then she was just severely bullied and then had to physically assault another girl.
But exactly, like not even when she got to escape Hawkins, like she couldn't find peace then either.
Yeah. I just want her and Max to be together again.
Me
it's
too.
the only friend that she's ever had.
And they may be the least likely to come.
They're both not making it.
No. That's where I draw the line. We're not going to kill the two girls in the party.
Yeah.
And let the four boys live without saving them.
Get out of here.
Anyway,
but yeah,
the biggest
point is Hopper. We can't watch him lose another daughter.
He's the anchor.
That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
That's too traumatic for no reason.
No reason. I know. Oh my God. I was crying watching that flashback the other day. I was like, oh my God.
I know.
They really got us with Hopper in season 1.
I know.
They were like, he's kind of a doofus in the first, and then like immediately was like, oh no.
You're like, oh, well, shit.
We're all troubled in Hawkins.
Great.
Speaking of, should we discuss some of these stills from the teaser? Because we have a couple,
not much
at least
of
one.
Elle.
Not much with Elle.
Or Happy.
Yeah, not much from either of them, but they are together in the shots that we do see. And in the teaser specifically, we can talk about BTS later. But yeah, it's funny that in the teaser video, or they're not calling it the teaser, they're calling it the date announcement.
The date, yes, correct.
So we don't even have a teaser yet, technically. So in the date announcement video, we just get this shot of Elle screaming and holding her head, and
with
Hopper,
a bloody nose.
And with a bloody nose, classic. And Hopper's like holding her, like, oh shit,
again, girl.
Like, very in distress. In this clip, I can't tell where they're at.
No,
it seems to be,
but there's like flashing lights.
So maybe the radio station,
or the military base, or the lab.
Oh God, I don't want to go back to the lab.
We're definitely going to go back to the lab for something.
The strange thing is, and we've confirmed this, right? This is the only instance of this between the date release video and the still images that Netflix released.
Yeah.
The video, we get this clip and it's all red and she's holding her head, she's screaming. But in the
pictures,
still image version of this, lighting is blue or calm, I guess. And she's just like standing all stoic. Still her nose is bleeding. I think this is definitely like right before the thing in the teaser video happens.
Yeah, because he's like holding a gun up and...
Yeah. So then something happens and they're on the ground.
But why is this the only thing that's a different shot?
That's exactly right. What does it mean?
It's the same exact scene, clearly.
Definitely. Same outfits.
Same everything.
Yeah.
Bloody nose. It's literally maybe a minute later.
And the lighting has turned red.
Something's breaking through a door or something again. I don't know.
I wonder...
She's holding... Like, the nosebleed is when she's holding something back, or...
Just a thought, just like a random thought. I wonder if this happens to be... I'm picturing like a mirror moment when like Will is having his big one there. His run. And maybe this is the same moment. Hopper's... They're just in a different location.
At the base.
Yeah, what the heck is this place?
Yeah, it's like a lab or a military base or it looks scientific-y. You know what I mean?
It does.
Or are they in like the Russian prison?
We still have the Russians to deal with, do we not?
Yeah.
Like big time.
Yeah. That one prison can't be the only place that was...
No. They really got to save the world this last episode.
They just like...
This last season.
They just left.
Yeah.
Sure, Hopper killed the Demogorgon, but there was a bunch of like...
They had a whole...
They were experimenting on things. They were like Petri dish creating demodogs. Like there was a lot going on.
Which, like, how much do they know?
Some of the particles got out, so we don't know where they could have gotten. Like,
how does this? Yeah,
we don't really know what wrapped up over there in Russia.
What is their research? Like, how long have they known about all this? What do they know in comparison to this crew? I hope we get a lot of answers there, because otherwise, the Russian plot line is kind of like
There's
has
no way they're-
always been so vague.
Yeah, that's true. I think that's a big thing we'll get wrapped up maybe finally.
We say it about everything. Like that's going to be a huge thing in this last season.
But it's just been
but you're
so
right.
vaguely there.
Yeah.
And slowly growing. And all of a sudden, Hopper was coincidentally in a Russian prison when they captured him when we thought he was dead and kept him specifically for the Demogorgon to play around with and eat.
That was also a huge, then we know obviously that was a huge plot in the 3rd season, which otherwise we remember as being sort of like the fun season. I don't know. It was obviously terrible, scary things happened as always, but for the most part, it was very like relationship based and very character based. But there was that whole crazy Russian plot line masked by like the comedy of Steve, Dustin, and Robin. So, and that is really a through line.
Yeah, but we don't have an actual ending to it.
And how does Elle play into like what will the Russians maybe want with Elle? You know, or is she? What is she going to do to
know
like
about her? Do they care? It's not like that's ever really been a worry.
And no, because Brenner was wanting to use her to spy on them. Him like trying to get her to place like a Russian agent and like get into and like look into their conversation. How does that come back around?
Yeah.
With all the other stuff we've learned. She's very serious. And Hop's just there. He's like, oh yeah, I've got this giant gun.
He's good. There's no way he's going anywhere.
No, I want to see their relationship like
that's why I'm so excited
thrive.
We see them together.
I'm excited. Yeah, they're gonna work together instead of like this whole at odds with her feeling like she needs to be doing something, but him wanting to protect her only and keep her from all of this, but he never can.
Yeah,
she always runs off, and so now they're actually like coming together, which is awesome.
And they're the only ones that we've seen each other with. So like we haven't really seen Hopper with anyone except some. We did see teasers of him with Mike. Not teasers, leaked photos with Mike.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I haven't seen, you know what? I haven't seen a lot of the leaked stuff. I don't know. Okay, then there's this mystery image, which I feel like when you watch it in the teaser, this image where like it's 2 of the characters really far away and then this giant upside down wall of goo. And like, is that like an egg sack thing? Especially this part here.
What is that?
What is that? It looks like it could be one of his victims being like soaked up into the, who knows? But I feel like when I watched the video clip of it, it stood out as Hopper and Elle to me. But now looking at this image, could be Steve and someone else.
Steve and Dusty Bun?
Could be Steve and Dustin because, we've seen them in like a similar setting. I don't know. That just looks like a, dare I say, oh no. You know what?
It's a light colored top.
It actually looks like his hat and he's looking down.
Who?
Dustin here and the flashlight.
I mean, no, but like it also very well could be because the other like duo we've seen
is Hopper and Elle. Consensus could be Steve and Dustin. I at first just thought it was Elle and Hop. Well, we don't know why anything's going to happen because we don't know what's going to happen. But it's like, I don't know that Elle and Hop she'll go to the Upside Down probably.
We've never seen her in the Upside Down.
Yeah.
She's never been in the Upside Down.
That's crazy.
She's been in the Void. Right. She piggybacked through Max to Vecna's mind layer.
She's only been in their minds.
But she's never physically been in the Upside Down.
You're right.
Neither has Mike. I feel like it'd be interesting to see if she went, or maybe it's because she's going to spend the rest of her life in the Upside Down now. So
maybe this is her choosing her spot.
Oh, my new home.
Here's where I'm going to like settle into this wall. But we know she's able to communicate with or reach out or see people in the Upside Down, hear them, because she hears, at least is able to produce audio of Will in some capacity in the first season in the Upside Down.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
Trying to figure out like what Elle and Hopper alone would do in the Upside Down.
Other than, go to find some sort of big bad that she's going to go up against. He just wants to be there
for support.
But then we also have this. Is this BTS or is this a leaked image?
I have no idea.
What is this? I've seen the kids in the military, or at least Lucas is wearing like military vest.
Yeah.
And then it's Elle, Nancy, Mike, and Lucas.
Yeah. At least we get to see that she's with Mike at some point.
Yes. And Nancy loves going to the Upside Down. So maybe
she's like,
I'll take you.
Yeah. I'll show
you around.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just assuming because they're in the camo outfits that they're like military base.
It looks like she's also wearing the same outfit here.
That when she's with
Which
Hop.
Elle usually wears like the same clothes, I guess.
Yeah, she's
for the most part.
I'm also so curious, like, is this just going to take place over like a couple days and then the time jump?
Yeah, it is the same exact because she's wearing this little.
Yeah, so I think this is the military base set.
Yeah.
Whatever that really means. I think those are the only really things that we have of her, even like leaked behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Whether it's the teaser.
True.
We don't have much for Elle. They're keeping her under wraps.
Yeah, and for good reason. It's going to be a great
surprise,
whatever happens with her. I mean, her stuff in season 4 was great, especially the iconic Goodbye Papa scene and the helicopter explosion was just incredible. I'm going to be excited, for her to do something more
involved,
physical, like her physically being on the same plane as everyone else. Like, I mean, we've seen her close the gate before.
But yeah, she's always been separate.
She's always been separated from everyone. So I'm excited for her to fight alongside the party.
Yeah.
With everyone. Not in a tub.
She's probably going to go back.
She'll go in a tub at some point.
She's
she can't stay away.
1,000% going to go back in that salty tub.
But unfortunately, it's not a pizza freezer anymore.
I will never get over that we don't get Argyle back.
I know. And everyone's hating on Argyle these days. I'm just like, everyone needs to relax.
Not even.
I don't know what's happening.
Nah.
I got to get out of here.
Yeah. Because I loved that he, like, without hesitation was like, hey, my weird magical friend.
He, like, drove them all the way
across the country.
Yeah, it's like, all right. High out of his mind.
Yeah, we don't see him at all. Like, he literally dropped them off in the delivery truck.
I'll bet we get some sort of like...
He literally said himself he was not asked back for the last season. Like, he just not in it.
Who is Jonathan without Argyle?
That's what I'm saying.
Let Jonathan and Argyle be happy and let Steve and Nancy be happy.
Jonathan needs a friend too. Like,
he needs a friend.
Like,
he doesn't need...
He's the only friend we've ever seen Jonathan have.
Yeah, you're right. That sucks.
I know.
He and Steve, I guess, are probably going to be friends.
That's going to be a very awkward friendship.
Okay, we've gone off on a tangent. Okay, so that's it for, like, images of Elle.
Mm-hmm.
Her and Mike.
Yeah.
What are we thinking?
Dude, I don't know.
You really don't know.
I think it's too hard, and because it could just truly go either way.
I know.
So it really is just dependent on what... the writers wanted and what direction they went in, because the whole last season they were at odds, and even when they got together they were then fighting, and then they were separated, and then they rescued her and they had a cute little talk in the pizza parlor, but then everything else happened and we haven't seen them get to talk since.
I know.
So we don't know if that talk
healed them in some way.
We don't really know what that did for them. Clearly here we do see that they will be together at some point in some capacity. They're all back in the same state, at least again.
They're all stuck there.
Yeah. Is it quarantined?
I wonder
they're
if
literally not
right
allowed
after
to
that
leave?
happened they couldn't leave.
Yeah.
But then Argyle would be there.
Yeah.
He might have been able to dip before they locked down. Who knows?
So we don't really know where they left off. Mm-hmm. We kind of know they made up in some capacity, but so much was also happening. Their talk was kind of like they didn't, it wasn't like a big confessional, heartfelt thing.
And also, like, really none of them have time to be doing the romantic thing. Like, it's probably comforting, but
yeah,
I'm okay if they're also kids, so it's kind of like
whatever.
I don't care.
Yeah.
But I had to add, we have to discuss the Eleven and the Byler of it all.
I think we'll get a good moment of them like really doing something that they work together in.
Which will be really cool.
Which I think will be really nice and good for them and a good full circle thing. Because again, like as we've said, like she would be nowhere if it wasn't for him, obviously. Yeah. So I'm kind of hoping we get that back again.
And I like that it could be a really beautiful like evolution of, we thought they were so cute in the first season and we're like, oh, it's like little like young love or whatever. Yeah. And, he's infatuated with her, obviously, and she depends on him. Yeah. And I do think it needs to grow out of that, and it can't if they just stay together. I mean, she has a lot to figure out, clearly. Yeah. And he does too. Yeah. So
I'm interested to see like where that goes. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm excited to see. So much healing needs to be done.
I don't know if it'll really happen.
And then her and Will have a really interesting sibling-esque relationship.
Yeah, now they're very close.
Oh, yeah. I always think of the scene where they go get her in the desert and he's like beside himself, like with worry over her and relief that she's okay.
You got a little sister.
Yeah, and it's really beautiful. And we know like the actors have...
They're very close.
They're very close.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited for some Will and Elle moments.
And I think that'll be, again, like as we've just been talking about through all of these different videos of that, like we just know this last season is going to be such a full circle thing of a lot of callbacks to season 1. And I think we'll really finally get to see that connection that Will and Elle have.
Yeah.
Just from their like Vecna upside down trauma that only the two of them really understand.
Of course. Yeah, definitely.
And I think we got to see their sibling-y-ish relationship come to fruition, but I think in this season we'll get to actually see them like understand each other and bond in that way.
Yeah, definitely.
Which I think will be fun.
And he can be like a real friend to her also. Whereas like Lucas and Dustin are her friends, but I feel like it's always been through Mike almost, like convincing them that she's a part of the group. Yeah. But yeah, Will and Elle have an deep understanding of each other. And so that'll be really cool to see like blossom.
Hopefully.
And, whatever comes of him, especially that's the biggest mystery of them all.
We know something's going on with him, so
it could either be like them coming together or the complete opposite, honestly.
That's true.
Which would be so sad.
Him. What if she has to kill Will?
No.
I don't know.
And she won't. She sacrifices herself instead. Like it's gonna be some crazy.
Yeah.
What else do I have?
Just her and Vecna, dude.
And then this is the big one that everyone can probably spend a lot of time thinking about because it's really comes down to 1 and 11 at the end of the day. Yeah. Because they truly, truly started this whole mess.
I know it sounds like really dumb and really obvious, but like, was her number of 11 chosen for a reason? Right. In terms of like it's just 2 1s. Yeah. Like I know that sounds silly.
1 junior, 1.2.1 2.0. 1 1.
1 junior is amazing. Like I think like why else did they pick 11? You know what I mean?
Totally.
I don't know. It just seems too... I feel like I will be more surprised if there isn't some deeper connection, like he might be her father, or I am your father. Similar theories.
I think it's so likely. I think at this point, because I was really heavy on the Henry, and then Mrs. Wheeler being Henry's sister, Alice. But I actually think it's more likely that Vecna could be Elle's dad.
And it might not even be literally him and Terry
Ives,
got together or anything.
No.
I'm like almost certain it was, experimental.
Totally. Why else would all of this take place in this crazy lab where they're doing the worst things?
Things. Yeah.
They'll go to any length.
Yeah.
So I think it's just that dark.
Yeah. And I think that would be like kind of like the last piece of the puzzle of being like, there's a reason they have not even touched the surface on anything about her father. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
If there wasn't
They've never
even
mentioned it.
No, if there wasn't even a chance it would be him, like they would have casually just said, oh yeah, Terry was in a really, you know what I mean? Like we had a whole episode where 11 found her mom and talked to her aunt and could have gotten that information, but did not. And we know Terry routinely went to the lab for these experiments and for testing and stuff. So they very easily could have just like...
And I think they really cover a lot of this up with our yearning for her to have a father figure in general, no matter who it is. And because we like see this messed up relationship with her and Brenner, and we're just like, we buy into that. We don't question like her real dad at that point, because it's like all about him. And then we get the relief with Hopper, who also lost a daughter, and like he's got this whole thing. They have this whole relationship, and we just buy into that. And so they keep us from questioning it, I think, by just giving us, she has a dad kind of. We just don't think about it.
And I think it's too coincidental too, of the, not even like on purpose, like that he had all these kids call him Papa. Like
totally,
you know what I mean? And why did one know deep in his soul that 11 would have been more powerful than the other ones? Like he went to her and she was the weakling out of the group at that point. And he was saying like,
he saw himself in her, and
literally. I don't know. I would be shocked if it wasn't that.
What is the scientific process of having the first, like your first subject, like Henry is one. So he would have taken Henry and used him to create the other test subjects.
Maybe they tried in different ways with all those other numbers. One was through blood, one was through, you know, like in different experimental ways, different ages, all of this stuff. Maybe 11 was the first one that they were like, you know what, let's just create a literal child with his DNA. And maybe that's why like they knew. Because Brenner also was very particular about her. She was...
For sure.
Maybe not the youngest, but one of the youngest, the tiniest one. And he was always paying close attention to her too.
But I wonder if that was Henry, if that was one's... If one knew Elle was his daughter, he wouldn't be sharing that with Brenner. Like if he felt...
I don't know if one would know.
They're keeping it from him, right?
I don't think he even knows. I think later, if we find out, it'll also be a surprise for him.
That's pretty crazy. And then he's like, oh no, I'm sorry, everyone.
Everyone's happy now.
Yeah, I'm just going to put everything back the way, right side up.
Just kidding.
I'll put everything right side up. Last episode title. And
it truly is just a daughter-father story.
Yeah. I just think it makes so much sense.
I think it does too.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Could she handle this? Like, mentally?
Poor girl.
Emotionally?
Probably not.
No, who could?
If we get to see any other relationship with her and Vecna, like, I think we could get nothing, and it's literally just a big bad guy, and, you know, like, that's about it.
Vecna could just not come back. I mean, I don't think that's... Oh, we know. See, this is what annoys me about this, the little like leaks and stuff.
No, I need to know everything.
We know Vecna's gonna be back.
Yeah,
but we don't know like in what
extent.
capacity.
Yeah,
that could have just been him like busting through the
1000%
floor.
I think so.
And
nothing bigger would come out of that like little floor panel.
I feel like that's gonna be closer to the beginning.
Yeah,
and then like Big Boy is coming later. Up.
Yeah, I think so too.
And Elle, is going to have to do some work.
Yeah.
Big time. Maybe they'll learn they're related and Vecna will help them in the end.
Against whatever.
He'll become Henry again.
Do you think Victor is going to have a role at all with Vecna? Is his daddy coming back? It's truly just a lot of daddy issues.
Cameo.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something they wanted to use just
for itself.
For that.
Yeah.
Shock factor, like, oh my God, we got Freddy Krueger himself.
I don't know. I just wonder because it's all daddy issues. All of them. Every single one of them.
Every single one of them.
Even Steve at one point just says it's daddy issues, you know? So I don't know. I'm just intrigued with all of that.
Me too.
Of like, what's the daddy of it all?
Who is daddy? It's Pedro Pascal.
Pedro's the big bad villain in the end.
The fact that we said that at the same time.
Daddy's a state of mind.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Talk about a cameo.
The only thing that could like super top this series is if we get Pedro Pascal in the end. I feel like there's so much, but you can't, you're going to go crazy if you just like think of all of it.
But I think that's the cool thing of this last season is that we're so like, oh, what else is like? We've seen her fix her powers. Okay, she has her powers back. So now what?
Yeah.
At the end, we kind of saw her and Mike resolve. So, okay, now what?
Yeah.
She's now with Hopper. They're all good. They're together again, both alive. So now what? Like, I feel like...
Yeah, true.
This last season, it's really just like her and Vecna and whatever that means. And her probably trying very hard to get Max back.
Yo, that's going to be that's another,
Yeah.
big thing. And we talked about this, but her and Lucas working together to get her back.
I feel like she's going to be very hard on herself, like really trying different things, trying to figure it out and like almost blaming herself.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wonder when she like, will she finally find her and like what that'll be like.
I know. Oh, there's so much.
I know.
There's so much that has to happen.
That many episodes. They did say they're all very long. Yeah, okay. That's true. They're all like little movies.
Maybe there's just like a wrap up of each like storyline per episode. We'll see.
I can't wait.
Can't wait. And then we'll figure out who our next subject is. For next week.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay, well, thank you for fangirling with us.
This meeting of the Fangirls Club is adjourned.
You can get your gavel again.
Dang it.
You can use
We can use a ghoul. Great. I did
Gentle.
it so Bye.